Okay. Hi, folks. Good evening. I hope I am audible. Hi, Yashwant. Hi, Ritik. Hi, Soam. Quick confirmation, guys, if you guys can see me. I'm just here to clear some doubts that came up during yesterday's session with Twinkle. Before we start off with the whole session, I'm just going to solve the queries. Okay. Very quickly, just let me know if you guys are able to hear me or see me. Hi, Vijay. Right. So yeah, so there were questions regarding the attendance and how to mark that, right? Okay, let me just also add Twinkle into the stream. Hi, Twinkle.
Hi Prasad. Hi
Hi.
everybody.
Yeah, so could you just help me understand what questions did come up during yesterday's session?
I think a lot of students could not mark their attendance. I think there was some issue with the site, and I saw a lot of queries around that. So if you can just give them a walkthrough of how to do that again.
Sure. Okay, great. Right. So everyone who is here today and everyone who is going to watch this in recording, right? So a very quick walkthrough. Just go to the description and you should find this link here, right? Just copy this and open it up. Right, and that should land you on something like this called the one doc. Right, scroll down and find your enrollment link. Just click on this, and you should be okay. Let me just enroll, and you should be right on this page called as the one link or the was place where the dashboard basically for the program, right? And you can basically mark the attendance here, right? Even if you have missed out on marking yesterday's attendance, then just come back here and mark the attendance for the session, right? And if you just what you have to do is just click here, give the rating. If you are giving anything below 10, please make sure to help us understand what we could improvise upon so that we work around those things and come back to you with better things, right? For now, I'm going to rate it 10 and nothing, and then submit it, and that's it. That is the process to mark your attendance. And in case you still need help, okay. Okay, so this was the place where I was showing. I hope now it is visible. Yeah. So once you land on this page, right, just scroll down and you will see the whole schedule. So like yesterday's attendance I've marked. If I want to mark today attendance, I'm just going to go down here, mark attendance, and as I mentioned, give a rating and submit attendance, and that's it. The attendance is marked. Then you have to watch the whole session, and that's it. Right. Now, in case you want everything to be explained again, all you can do is go to this document that is again this document notion document that is available. Scroll down, and there is one thing written, a step by step process to complete the program. Just click on this and you will have everything right here, right? See, if you see, there's a section where we have mentioned how to mark the attendance. So whatever I've just explained, right, is very well documented with screenshots and everything. You can, okay, a few sections are outdated, but you can totally skip that, right? And that's it, and that should be enough to mark the attendance. I hope that clears a lot of doubts. And again, all the links are available in the description, right? If you can see, that is the document link. If you want to join our student ambassador program, which is starting very soon, the early of the next month, you can join us there. And again, the link to the dashboard that I showed is also mentioned here directly for you to use. And if you see, right, all the links are same. So basically, a registration, attendance, assignments, LU coins, and certificate, everything operates on a single page, right? So yeah, that's about it, and I hope that clarifies all your queries, right? Let me just see the chat. Okay, so with that, I'll take leave, and yeah, over to you, Twinkle.
Thank you, Prasad. Uh, yes. Hi everybody. I hope all of you are doing well. Did any of you go through the Canva link that I had shared yesterday? Did any of you try your own variations? Please be active in the chat. It is an interactive session. We're gonna wait for a couple more minutes. I think a lot of people are still joining. So if you have worked on, okay, yes, I have my version with me. Great, great. I think in the first half of today's session, I'm just gonna fine tune my version, and maybe you can work on yours as well. Yes, we had shared a link. We had added it in our Notion file. You can go down to the description of the video and go to the Notion link. In the full link, you will see the Canva link over there. And it's okay. It's still okay if you haven't done anything. You can still, use the link and create your own version of the design that we were working on yesterday. So there's that. Okay. So as to the two people who have mentioned that they did work on their version, that's great. I think design is one of those skills where the more you work on it, the finer your work will be. So good work, guys. Okay, I think we can start today's session. I'm just gonna present my screen. Right. So this is what we were working on yesterday, and we covered a couple of very basic aspects of what graphic design is, what are the use cases of Canva. And just to give a recap for all of this, Canva is basically a tool that helps you create cool designs, right? I mean, it has so many features in the software itself that you don't really need to go out of this portal to kind of like create anything and everything that you want. We have shortcuts for everything. We have an option to download the desktop app. We have specific sizes. We have so many documents that we can work around: presentation, social media. Canva has the capability of creating videos for different sizes. They have so many templates that you don't necessarily need to be a designer in order to make anything. यहाँ पे. And of course, then we have the option to create websites as well. And then again, just so many templates that you can pick from. All right. So this is a quick overview. In order to start working on a design, we go to create a design. Because we have already been working on one, I'm just going to scroll down. I see in my recent designs, I have an Instagram post that I was working on. Right. I'm gonna just call it fashion brand launch, because that is what we were aiming for yesterday, right? So quickly heading over to my notes, create an Instagram post for an up and coming fashion brand talking about the launch, right? This was our core agenda behind creating this particular post. So we had gone to a site called Coolors, COOLORS, .com, and we had come up with a very offbeat kind of a color palette, right? The primary color was something like this, yes, and this was your secondary color. So I thought about it. I tried to make sense of these two colors, that in any universe do they belong together, and I came up empty. I realized that these are the two colors that just don't go well together. One, they don't belong in the same category. this is a very bright color, this is more of a neon color, right? So there is no way that these two colors kind of go together. They don't belong to the same family. Also, the contrast between these two is just too much. I mean, it is not, they're not complementing each other, they are not polar opposites of each other. I mean, they don't really go well together. So whenever we are in a situation where we are forced to work with such a color, I mean, color combination basically, I mean, it is our primary duty as designers to kind of let the brand know that this is a problematic situation that they are in, and they need to maybe move the color to a shade where, you know, these two colors don't really fight so much with each other, right? So I think when we talk about the contrast between these two shades, of course this looks a lot better. This is not overwhelming anymore, because this color that we had primarily selected, this is just a little too overwhelming. And again, red being a color that we cannot really use in bulk, and the same guidelines apply to a neon shade. So I think in that case, we definitely need to uh, convince somebody to kind of, you know, let us use a different shade of colors. And that is what we are going to be doing today. We are gonna take these two color palettes, and another thing, if we are in a situation where we do not really have a choice, we have to use such colors. And in that case, I would highly recommend that the design that you are making, pick one color as your primary. Do not go ahead with both of the colors, because of, again, these two colors are not really complementing each other. It does not really make sense to be ending up with a design that we are not proud of. So in that case, either take the red or the cyan neon color, but do not take both colors with you. And because both of the colors are your brand colors, is what we are assuming right now. So it is okay to create a post that just caters to one color. That's okay. All right. I think we are set to start the design. But before I do that, I would want to head over to the chat really quickly to see if you guys have any questions from yesterday's session, or is there any query that you want me to work on. Uh, okay, how to cut out objects from the photo. Okay, okay. So right. So there are a couple of features in Canva that kind of let me edit my image, and I think in order to do that, in order to give you a walkthrough of those features, I would need to kind of move the design to a pro version of Canva. I purchased another. I created another basically. Uh, an account, and I purchased the pro subscription for this to kind of give you guys a walkthrough. So Canva has this really cool feature that it lets you choose for how many days do you want to use the free subscription. Sorry, not the free subscription, but the pro subscription. Uh, so I think if you are working for a client, for which you need Canva services, I think 500 rupees per month is roughly what it charges. And you can get it reimbursed by the people that you're working with. And if you're using Canva for your own personal use, I think even in that case, I would highly suggest, based on the specs that Canva gives, I think it is a great tool to have. And maybe you can switch between the free account and the pro account based on the usage of or the work that you are doing. Because ever since Canva has come up with the magic feature, I think it's just an all-rounder tool when it comes to designing. So okay, moving over, I have pasted this file in my Pro account. As you can see, the tag over here has changed, and now I'll be able to access many of the features, Pro features. Okay, okay, all right. So now we're gonna start working around this. But what I'm going to do before starting the design is I'm going to go over to the brand section, right? So what I need to do is, firstly I need to create a logo, because for my brand assets I need to upload all of these assets. Not mandatory, but anything that I want in the brand to be represented is what I want to add over here. So, okay, I'm going to head over. I'm gonna create a logo, right? So again, guys, just to reiterate, you don't really necessarily need to remember all the dimensions for all the portals and everything that you need to create. For example, there are so many variations when it comes to just Instagram, right? There is post, portrait, square, video, profile picture, reel, cover, story, video, ads, just so many. It's like the list is still going on. So you don't necessarily need to remember all of this, or the other option is just to quickly Google it. But again, Canva does give you the feature to kind of understand and differentiate between the different sizes. And so yeah, I think it's just a wonderful feature that they've added. Right, so I'm going to head to my logo file and I need to create a logo for my fashion brand. Right, so what I need to do is find, I'm gonna keep my logo simple. I do not want it to be very jazzy. And so I really liked the logo that we had, the text that we had over here, this launch text. So I'm just gonna copy it, Control Command C. I bring it back over here. And I do like the shade that we have over here. I mean, again, blue is, it kind of does represent strength and stability. And maybe, I can pair it with a complementing color. So this is, so I'm gonna write fashion instead. So I see that there is an effect that is already added to it. That is basically just to keep, the design in a presentable mode when we are actually sharing it with somebody. So what I need to do is I need to go to effects, go for none. Right now I don't really need any design in this, or transition in this. So I am gonna fashion, and then my secondary text could be brand. Right, I need to pair this with a nice simple font. I think moon time looks good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move it a little bit over here. Again, to access the layers, I click on Alt 1 and I get my layers over here, right? So I need brand to be under fashion. So I move it like this. So guys, based on the color wheel that we discussed yesterday, can you tell me without looking at it that what is the complementing color to blue? I mean, we did see the color wheel, and there were the warm tones and the cool tones. So, which color was exactly opposite to blue? Can you quickly head over to the chat and tell me? Great. I think a lot of people were paying attention. Yes, orange is the color that was complementing blue. Great. Okay, I think I'm on this file. Yes. So, because colors like yellow, orange, cyan, and pink I mean, they should not really be used in a larger scale. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep my primary color as blue, which is going to be used for the bigger text over here. And then for the brand, I am going to use a shade of orange, right? So again, guys, we need to kind of set the color in such a way so that it does not really overwhelm the user, right? Even if it is in a combination, it is okay, but we don't really need to, make it so bright. Like it kind of should blend with the color that it is being used with. Okay, I think this is it. This does look like a nice logo. Maybe I can use some icon around it. If I So now I go back to elements and I look for an icon around clothes. Right, it's gonna give me some graphics, it's gonna give me some shapes, some frames, but I'm looking for a graphic. I go to see all and I try to see that. So you can see that a lot of assets that are listed over here are pro assets, which is okay. I mean, like Canva does give you so many templates for free. So this is where they kind of, start making some money for themselves. So, okay, I do not see a lot of good icons though. Maybe I can just go for something simple. For example, a hanger, maybe. Let's see how this looks. I would want to use this. I understand that a hanger is a cliche for when it comes to apparel design or a fashion brand, but we are just trying to see how it will look. We don't necessarily need to go ahead with this. I don't think this is making any sort of impact in my design. So I'm going to go back and look for another text. So I think, yeah, the word fashion did get a couple of good results. So let's just go for that. And okay, see, even the hanger that they have in this is designed better, right? Uh, okay, let's see if it is letting me edit this. It's not. I do like the idea of the text brand going around in circles. Let me just see if it's gonna let me do that. Right, it's not. It's not. That's too bad. Uh, okay, maybe what I can do instead of keeping this brand over here is I can just change the color of this and put it back. Yep, I think this looks a little better than what I originally had, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna copy this. Sorry, not copy this. I'm gonna download it as a PNG, and my download is done. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go back to my original file. I go to adding brand logos, upload this file, and save it. Right, so now my logo has been saved. And if I want to create a couple of variations for it, for example, I'm going to duplicate this page and set the base color to my blue, and the text, primary text, could be white, right? So I'm gonna do this in order to kind of create a second variation of this logo. And maybe I can create one more with orange as my primary color. I'm gonna make the changes as such. I think, yeah, because the colors are complementing each other, no matter in what shade I download it or I create it, it does look good. So, whenever we are creating an asset similar to a logo, it is important to kind of create a couple of variations of it. And because we may not always have a background that is white, and yeah, I think that is important that we cater to things that are beyond just a monotone style. So that is something that we need to be careful about. So I'm gonna go back. I am going to upload a few more logos. Right, so it kind of also gives me an advantage of using multiple colors in my social media posts or the videos that I'm making or flyers or presentations, anything. Right, so I'm going to go ahead and save all of this. Uh, Now I go to add your brand colors. Right, so okay, wait, I think I just duplicated it. So I'm going to click on selecting my brand colors. Right. So my brand colors are, I go ahead and add this. Another is an orange. I add the color to this. And then, of course, I have my primary white. Again, it is advised to not use your classic white, which is FFF. I think we can go a little towards red. I think that is okay. We may not have used it in the logo though. I mean, that's okay. I think it's just human error. We can change it later on. So now I have set three colors in my design, and what I do need to do is add a color for my typography as well. I mean, I understand that we have blue and orange as our primary and secondary colors, but it is good to have a darker shade to kind of work around the readability part, because people feel more comfortable reading something that is a little darker in shade as compared to some flashy color. So, okay, this is the color that I'm going to go ahead with, and I have added it to my color palette. So, this is the palette that I'm going ahead with. Now, adding the fonts. So, this is the font that I initially wanted to go with, and for titles, I think I'm going to go ahead with Dan Marin. Right. This is the font that I like, and I'm gonna go ahead with. And apart from this, another secondary font that I might use could be Moontime. Right. So these are the two colors that I want to go ahead with, and maybe a simple sans serif font for information like my email address, because I do not want a very flashy or decorative font to be used for something that is driving my business, my website name or my brand name, or even the email address or contact number, because these decorative fonts often don't really have the best representation for numbers or special characters, for example at the rate or something. So it is good to have a tertiary font that you use just for the information purposes. So in that case, I'm going to go ahead with Montserrat. I'm going to select that, and it does, if you see closely, it does ask me that what are you using this font for and what is going to be the font size and everything. I am going to work on this later. For now, I'm just saving the three fonts. All right, so this is done. So all of these things I'm adding to my brand kit, right? It is gonna make it easier for me to kind of access all of this information, and I don't have to keep on remembering it. Coming to adding a brand voice. Now, what does this mean? So, exactly what it says over here: describe your brand's unique personality and how you communicate with your audience. Your voice is an important way to attract people to your brand, create connections, and build trust with them. For example, our voice is confident, casual, and friendly. So, when we talk about a brand, maybe Dior. So, a few words that come to mind are luxury, premium, quality, right? These are some of the words, some feelings that are associated with the brand. So, how is that? How, or like, did they come to you and tell you that these are the things that you need to remember when you think about our brand? No. This is the image that they have cultivated over the years through their work, be it the advertising that they've been sending out, be it the products that people are actually using and recommending because of the quality of their work, or it could be the general work culture that they have also reflects these things. So I mean, whenever we talk about a brand, it is very important that every asset that represents that brand carries the same voice across the platforms, be it print media, be it a video, be it a graphic or a website, or the product itself, be it physical or digital. All of that is associated with the brand, has to carry the same tonality, right? So when we talk about a brand like ours, we have a brand called Fashion Collection, right? So what sort of um, message do you think this brand should have? I mean, as we mentioned in our notes earlier, that it's a new launch, that this brand is new, and I think my notes have disappeared for some reason. That's okay. The only thing that was written in it was that it's a new brand and we are trying to launch it. And so this is going to be a launch post around that. So, because it's a new brand, it is good that we have the liberty to kind of set the tone of this brand, not only through the text that Canva is asking us to add over here, but it is in our hands to kind of cultivate what sort of design do we want to establish, what sort of messaging do we want to share with the audience, right? So, because of the color palette that we have, over here, so we have a very cool, vibrant, and minimal design that we have created through the logo. And maybe this is the feeling, this is the vibe that we want to convey to the users as well. So I can add a couple of lines over here, or I can just add a couple of keywords. That is totally your call. And but this is the words. These are the words that I'm going to go ahead with. I'm gonna save all of this and generate. Oh, okay, great. So again, because Canva is now fully powered by AI, so I did add three words, and it is giving me an option to generate in this brand voice. So okay, I'm going to try this out. I haven't tried it out before. Okay, it's gonna ask for use five or more words to describe what you want to write. Uh, okay, an up and coming fashion brand which embodies a cool, vibrant, and minimal apparel design. Okay, so this is what I wrote. Let's see what they come up with. Less is the new more. Dive into the essence of cool with our minimalistic design that speak volumes, where every thread weaves a story of vibrancy and sophistication. Welcome to the future of fashion. Oh, this is quite nice. I'm going to insert this. Okay, great. I'm gonna add it in the notes. Oh, this is, yeah, another reason why you should totally invest in the pro subscription for Canva. You get to see so much more than what meets the eye. Okay, so for photos, graphics, and icons, I'm not gonna get into this right now because as we know that we did start with one image, but the longer I look at it, the more I realize that it might not be a perfect fit for the message that I'm trying to send across, right? Because one, the image is very faded out, and I have converted it into grayscale, which does kind of defeats the purpose, because this is a new vibrant brand, so the colors have to feel that way. I mean, I understand that this is taking a minimalistic approach, but it's just looking a little too simple for a brand launch, right? So in order to not be caught up with that, I'm going to remove this image. I'm going to remove all the Memphis that there are, the stars, the circles, all of that. And I'm gonna go back to my brand kit, and I'm going to just insert this one logo that I had created, right? I'm going to just put it here and increase the size of it. So again, the dashed line that you see is my margin. It is not mandatory that you stay within the confines of this margin, but I mean, it is a good practice to kind of keep your core messaging in this area, because even for the eye movement of the user, we need to understand that they are trying to find information in the center, and when they don't do that, then they try to look around to see where do they go first. So it is of course good to keep the information right in front of them. uh, okay, so now we're gonna head over to Pixels and Unsplash, the two sites where you can get stock images royalty free. So I'm going to do that. So again, guys, just to reiterate, our core message agenda today to look for the image is less is the new more. Dive into the essence of cool with our minimalistic designs, where every thread weaves a story of vibrancy and sophistication. So vibrancy, minimalistic, sophistication, and essence of cool. These are our keywords. This is the sort of image that we want to look for, right? So, for example, this I think is a good design. I mean, the color, even the sunglasses or the hair, this looks like something our target audience might be interested in. Even this, but I would want to have somebody, a face behind this. So I think let's try this image. I'm going to download this. I'm gonna come back, click on upload file. Okay, it's still downloading. Right. So another thing, I think subconsciously I preferred that image because of its resemblance to our secondary color, orange. Again, it's a good thing that it does remind us of that. Okay, right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this image into our workspace, and I'm going to centrally align it. I'm not sure if I want to keep the background just yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just duplicate this page, and in this page, I'm gonna just use the image with the background, and in this one, maybe I can just go to edit photo and remove the background. This is gonna take a few seconds, and so while we are modifying this image, I think it is a good time to kind of give you a walkthrough of all of these features as well. I mean, these are pretty cool. I was just going through them. So, for example, you can see that it's not like completely, the cropping over here, the background removal, they have kind of like, chopped off a bit of her hair also. That's okay. It happens sometimes. All right. So I'm gonna select this image once again. I am gonna go to edit photo. I am gonna go to, so you've already seen what background remover does. It removes the background. Now we go to magic edit. So now this is becoming uh, a very nicely executed feature. So what you need to do over here is you need to kind of select. So your brush is selected by default. You can adjust the brush size, and what you're going to do is kind of select the area that you want to modify. Again, guys, do not try to remove an element from here. Just try to modify it. You try to edit it in some sort of way. So okay, I have selected the shoes. I am gonna click on continue, and maybe I want the shoes to be I want to say red. Maybe let's try. Let's change color to red. Oh, this is already preset. So I'm just going to select this and click on generate. Let's see what it comes back with. So again, it is a new feature that they have launched, and they do give this disclaimer: this technology is new and improving. Please check and report these images if they don't seem right. Yeah, but I think we did get a good result. I mean, I see that the color, red color, is spilling over a little bit on the legs, but that's okay. I think they are giving me 4 options to choose from. I'm going to go with this one. It is giving it a little bit of a texture. Maybe this or this. I think this is a little too much. Maybe the first one. I think I'm just gonna go ahead with the first one. I'm gonna click on done, and now you can see the impact. This is becoming a little more impactful because of the bright colors that they're used as compared to in this image. I mean, my primary focus is the dress, but over here the dress and the shoes. I mean, if in case my brand caters in apparel and footwear also, I can kind of put this asset in focus as well. All right. I am gonna go back to this. I want to kind of change the background of the artwork. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna click on this background of this artwork and select it from the brand colors that I have preset. Okay, now in this case, I do want to see if I can add some extra elements around this image. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to head over to draw. I am going to select a marker. I want to increase the weight of this. I'm gonna go to my tertiary color, which is a shade of white, and I'm going to create a couple of waves around it to kind of give it a new age approach, make it a little cool, right? And at the same time, maybe I am just trying to add some random assets around it. Okay, so I am done with this. I'm gonna go to Alt 1, and I'm going to move my image on top of this, right? So as you can see that these assets are adding some sort of busyness to this, and it is up to me to kind of decide that if it is making the design a little too busy, because at the end of the day the approach that I want to have for my design has to be minimal. So okay, I am gonna go back, and I kind of forgot what was the weight that I had taken for the previous lines. I think I need to add some of this over here as well. Maybe add the same. Right. Okay, I think these lines are a little thicker than the previous ones. So I'm just going to go for this. Okay, going back to Alt 1, putting the image on top. Now I have an option to select all these images. So I press down on Shift and I select all these waves that I've created. I'm going to click on Group and then I'm going to lock it. Right, how do I lock it? I click on I select the layer or the group that I've created. I place on right click, go down, lock. So I can lock the just the position, or I can just lock the complete layer. So I have put it on lock, and now I kind of want to modify the image a little bit. Maybe I want to uh, work on the dress and change it to look a little more orange, right? I mean, maybe orange or a different color. We can work on that, I think, later on. But right now, because this is going to be a launch post, so I do want the users to subliminally be familiar with my brand colors. So how I'm going to do that is through feeding them the same colors over and over again through the posts, right? Convert into orange. Let's see what it comes back with. So this is kind of letting me move away from the traditional photo editing tools like Photoshop and some other tools, maybe some sort of, to some extent. I think this is a little too orange. Maybe this one. This looks a little realistic. So does this. I think I like this one. But now the problem is that with this color, I do not really like the shoes anymore. Uh, that's okay. I think we can deal with that later on. Moving back to this. Uh, all right. So now we have this, and we can finally start working on the typography of this, right? So just to go back, so I think design is all about iterations. I mean, the more I work on it, the more I realize that as I'm progressing in my design, some assets might go together brilliantly and some might not, and that's okay. I mean, that is kind of like a hidden trial method that we are trying to achieve over here. So I'm going to just centrally align this text, and I want the launch word to be very big and very impactful. I'm gonna remove the effect from this, select the text to be white, and I'm going to let go of the logo as of now because I want this to be more impactful. I want the text launch to be more in focus. So maybe I can try writing it down in caps LAU and see it. I will definitely need to reduce the size. I'm gonna go with 140. Okay, this makes sense. Now I need to maybe put it behind the image. Right, right. Okay, this makes sense. Now I'm gonna see if this is readable. And what was my secondary brand color? I think it was moon time. Right. So I can also go back to my brand and kind of just drag and drop this asset over here. It is gonna give me the specification that I've entered. For example, if I've entered heading for 32 pixels, that is what is gonna give me. But of course, I have the liberty to kind of go beyond the preset information that I have. So, for example, I go to brace yourself for the launch. Okay. In this case, my messaging will need to change, of course, because I want to, uh, put this information first. So brace yourself for the launch, right? Now I kind of want to move the focus away from the white elements in the background to the word launch. So what I need to do in this case is kind of reduce the opacity for these colors, but I realize that these are two groups. As you can see, these are right. Okay, so what I need to do is convert them into the same color, group them again, and then try to, through this transparency panel, I try to decrease their transparency, right? So I think this does look good, but we'll see how we feel about it by the end of it. So I'm going to replicate the text launch. So how do I do that? I hold down Shift and Alt and try and drag the element down. And okay, in this case, I'm going to go to transparency panel again, reduce the opacity of this, and repeat the same. This time I'm going to make it 10% and maybe 5% this time. So another good thing about Canva is if it is guiding me through the rulers and the gaps between. So for example, if I'm dragging the final layer, the fourth layer below, it keeps on telling me that if I have met the end of the layer on top of it, or where the text intersects or something. So all of that information is provided by the tool, which is great. So as of now, I do not like the Memphis that we had created. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just quickly paste it over here and increase the opacity so that we know that there is an asset that is present here. And yes, I do like the direction that we are headed into. Maybe not so much for this because it's not very impactful. Brace yourself for the launch. And the word launch is kind of getting hidden. So maybe something like this. Right. Okay, because there is no option to make this font bold, I might want to go out and check for another font that does give me an option for this. For example, I have Moon Time right now. Maybe I can go to some other font. No, this is a little too kiddish. So the fonts that we use have to kind of cater to the feel that we are trying to establish for the brand also. So I think if we don't find anything, we're just gonna I think yeah, this is good. Madeline, this font seems nice and okay, so I think this is good. Now I'm gonna just bring back my logo and maybe crop it from top and bottom so that it occupies less space. And I want it to be in the center of the post because I want this to kind of have the primary focus. And apart from this, because it is a launch, so I do want the user's focus to be on the brand first. Okay. So it does seem like that this woman is kind of sitting on nothing. So we might want to insert some element over here. We head back to our elements panel and we look for a table or a chair, something. And it's okay if it is a little graphic or I think let's see how this works. I have not tried this before, but it does make me. This is not gonna work. That was the scale was just way off. I am going to uh, just look for a table, uh, something in the form of a graphic, I think instead of that, what I can do is just quickly head over to my draw section and just create something, because it is going to be a little difficult to kind of understand the scale and the angle that she's sitting on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to maybe create something like this, and for this maybe I can just create a darker color around this. Again, I'm gonna open up the layers panel, shift 1, group all of this and move it under. Right, so this looks a little better. It's not still ideal, but it does look like, something is there behind her. So, okay, in that case, I think I'm just gonna increase the size a little bit. And so the background on top looks a little faded. So maybe I want to go back to my element section and check out some graphics. They don't necessarily need to be related to the message. I mean, those are called Memphis. Let me see if I can find some assets. Yes, yes. So these are Memphis. These are just random background designs that help you get rid of the empty space that you see in the back of the designs. So I'm going to add my brand color to all of this and go back and see what all do I have. This looks nice. Let's see if I can add it behind and decrease the opacity. So the one thing that I do want to point out about Memphis is that we kind of tend to get carried away with such background designs. So it is important to keep a check on ourselves not to get carried away with this. For now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the margins so that understand that my design looks like. And I realize that it does look a little empty. So in that case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the size for this and maybe move the logo to the right side. Yep, so it does give me more space to kind of play around with the background. Okay, right. So I have some more assets that I can work around with, and let's see what this looks like. I do want to decrease the border width. I think it does not have any. Okay, it's an image. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to decrease the size and see if that works. Okay, I think this is a little too short. So I'm not gonna add this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some of this. So I can rotate the elements based on the small cursor that I see. And of course, I have the cursor kind of gets stuck when it does reach a fixed angle, for example, 180, 90, 270, 360. So I think that's a good way to understand where we are. Okay, I think this does look good, but at the same time, I do want to kind of, differentiate between this image and the background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to edit photo and add some shadow maybe around it. So I'm going to click on glow, and it has reduced the size of this. So the image, because of all the space that the effect is going to take. So I do see that in the background, it is adding some darkness around it. And I think that is what I was going for. Maybe I can, adjust the amount of blur that I want to add around it. I do want it to be a little heavy. The distance, so if you can see that on this side, the blur, the shadow is moving away from the image. So that is not where we want it to be. We want it to be in the center of it. And I think this is a good position to be in. And they have a couple of preset options for you to kind of set the shadow yourself. That is not what we want to do today. You can definitely check it out at your own time. But I think this does look good. Maybe I want to add a few sprinkles of my brand color over here, and just to kind of establish that these are my uh, brand colors that I want to work around with. This makes sense. Okay. Right, right. So, okay, guys, I'm gonna just leave this design up for discussion, and feel free to drop in your comments on how we can improve this design. And yeah, I think we will take it from here. Meanwhile, I'm just gonna keep on iterating on this a little bit, because until I do end up sending the designs that I work on to my clients, I do keep on changing them a little bit just to see if there is anything else that can be done. For example, I am trying to add a bit of gradient in the background to kind of give it some depth. And by doing so, I realized that the logo that I had added is does have a solid background of blue color. So maybe it is not really ideal for this image. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to head over to this file, and I'm gonna select this artwork, go to colors, and so basically what I need to do is I need to group all of these images and go to download, and I do need to download this file but without the background. So download selection, right? So this is what it's going to do. It's going to download the selection that I've created over here, and right. So this is the image that it got me, and I can just re-upload it if that is what I want to do. But I think just reducing the size of this asset is going to help me solve the purpose. Yes. So I'm going to head back now. Uh, this one thing that I think we did not mention over here was the date of launch. So what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to just quickly mention a date. 13th May 2024 is when the brand is launching. So I'm going to just make it left aligned, keeping the font size. So again, as I mentioned before, that some fonts uh, have some difficulty designing the numbers. So I think it is always better to go for a tertiary font. For example, if I just a second, I'm gonna have to head over to my layer panel to kind of figure out that this is where my layer is, so that I can bring it down. So now I need to kind of go back to my brand panel to see that what was the so this was my brand preset, which was Montserrat 32. Okay, so what I'm going to do is select this file. I'm gonna search for Montserrat. And I think this does look good. I'm going to increase the letter spacing and decrease the font size, make it bold, and maybe I can add some hyphen in the middle just to occupy some space. Yeah, I think this makes sense. But guys, I am definitely looking for your opinion. Tell me how you feel about the design. If there is something that you want to know about in this design, is there something that can be done in a better way? Please feel free. Right. Can I create interactive PDFs and presentations with clickable elements using Canva? Yes, you definitely can. We are going to cover that in tomorrow's session. Color combination and font family. I can't select how the good, how I can upgrade myself. So in that case, I think it is good to rely on some tools like, the colors like cooler, sorry, portals like coolers and color palette generators. And there are a couple of plugins even in tools like Photoshop and Canva and Figma. So you can definitely head over there. Or in other cases, I think you can also rely on inspirations that you see across the platforms. For example, Pinterest, Behance, or Dribble. I mean, they have a plethora of imagery or designs that people have uploaded there. So you can just take those designs as your reference. And another thing that is very important for a new designer is to get their design assumptions validated. And what does that mean? For example, if you have created an artwork, so basically what I have created over here, I think it looks okay. It's not the best work that I've ever done, but it's not too bad. But at the same time, I cannot really be the judge of that. I am putting my hard work into this, so of course I'm going to like the design that I have created. But at the same time, it is very important for us to understand how the end user will respond to this design. Are they going to like it? Because at the end of the day, the mostly the designs that we work on are not really for ourselves. There is somebody else who is going to be looking at the design. Something as simple as our own CV. I mean, we don't really create a CV for ourselves. It is for the HR or the hiring manager, whoever that may be. They are going to, look at it. So it is good to show your design to people before you have sent it for final publication or for a post or for print. I mean, it is important to get somebody's opinion on it. You don't necessarily need to agree with what they say, or you don't necessarily need to make the changes if you don't feel like it. It is okay. At the end of the day, it is your design, but you need to be assured enough to realize that what you have made is right for so and so reason. If I need to defend the design today on this, maybe I might not be 100% in the favor of the design that I've made, because I haven't really had a lot of time working on it. At the same time, I don't really have enough context about the brand, right? So getting to know about the brand and understanding and then validating the design that you've made, these are three very important steps when it comes to designing, be it graphic, motion, UI, UX, or presentation, all sorts of design. It is important to know why you're making what you're making and who are you making it for. And once you're done with that process, get your designs validated. Right, so I'm going to read some more comments. Uh, this font matter a lot. Yeah, definitely it does matter. For example, if I had not chosen this font, and if I had just gone for something as simple as I not Montserrat is a good font. For wait, let me think of a bad font. They all have their own use cases. So if I had gone for something like this, it is not really as impactful as the font that I had used before, right? And it might not really go along with this combination, because this is a little cursive, and this is a little too decorative, but at the same time they're both very fine. None of them have a solid fill, right? So in that case, I need to have a balance. I need to establish visual hierarchy, that the word launch in the previous in this design, launch is my primary actionable. It is my core messaging. Then after looking at launch, people are going to move on to brace yourself for the launch. That is when they're gonna, start making the connection. That is why the secondary color is given to brace yourself further, because I want the users to be fixated on the word launch, right? So I have been able to kind of create that visual hierarchy because my font is more impactful and thicker than my secondary font, right? Okay. Uh, do we have any groups to show our progress? No, not yet. You can share the links of your file in the comment section. Uh, and okay, I think, yeah, it would be better if you just display the keys you are typing while editing. Yeah, I think that would take some time. I mean, that is kind of, part of video editing. Disturbing coming spins coming from your mic. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Launch can't be read clearly. Yes, that's a fair point. We can't really see the word launch very clearly. So, in order to do that, we might need to kind of minimize the use of the image now. Right. So if I had sent this design without getting it validated, the end user may not be able to understand what I'm trying to say, right? So it is again very important to kind of understand the user base and again get your designs validated. Can't focus on this enough. Uh, okay. I think this is about it. I am just trying to fill up some space over here now. So again, the few principles that we had talked about yesterday, through movements and proximity and continuity. So basically, I am trying to establish a container for the design so that the user knows that this is where my crucial information lies, right? So I'm going to just bring this up a little bit and maybe remove part of this Memphis, duplicate this line over here, bring it down. Yes. So all of this is done. I see now that this image is getting cropped. I'm going to open up the layer panel again. I'm going to bring my image all the way up. Okay. So now I see that my design looks a little heavy from the bottom. So maybe what I can do is remove this Memphis, because as I mentioned before, it is very easy to get carried away when we are working with Memphis. So I think, yeah, this does look like a fairly decent post. Guys, any feedback on this, or if you have created your own version around this, please now is the time to share it with all of us to get some feedback on what you've created. Anybody wants to share what they have been working on? It is a very good chance to work in a collaborative way. I'm going to wait for a few seconds. So if you are working on your own design, you can just drop your message or a comment over here. Okay, if you want to take a minute to see what could be done in this or share your own design. Okay, I think nobody really wants to share the designs as of now, and that's okay. Maybe in tomorrow's session. Right. So today we kind of understood how to create a social media poster. And another benefit of purchasing a pro account is that I'm going to just quickly delete this because we don't need it anymore. And okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click on resize and magic switch. So this is kind of like a lifesaver. Right now, the design that I had created was for an Instagram post in a square format, but I do want it to, but I do want to reuse the same design for an Instagram story. But I don't really want to kind of, make everything from scratch, put the alignments back together, and all of that work is just too much of a hassle. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select Instagram story from here. I'm going to click on continue, and the AI is okay. It's not really done a very good job in this design, but what it usually does is kind of cover the entire space. But then again, I don't really blame them. I mean, it does work most of the time, but okay. Then again, we're gonna try a different size. Okay, it does kind of help me in this resize this design. So okay, it has resized it, and maybe in this, what I need to do is kind of, of course, there is going to be some manual work when we kind of, go about creating variations of designs, and AI can only help us get so far. But yeah, I think this is a good start. And if you do want to try a new option, for example, if we talk about this design, let's see if resize and magic switch works on this. I want to create this into an Instagram story design dimensions. Let's see if it works for that. Okay, it's not. I'm not really sure why. It was working fine yesterday. No problem. You can just keep a lookout for this at your own time. Uh, all right. So we are done with our social post. And I think now is a good time to kind of head back and create a new design. Maybe a presentation or I think presentation. Yeah, I think that is something that we can, kind of work on today. So when we talk about creating a presentations, I think we can uh, add some animation and transitions to it as well. But at the same time, it is very important to understand what message are you trying to send across. Is it going to be a portfolio? Is it going to be a company profile in which you talk about the company's journey, how much money have they raised, how much funding have they raised, or who are their clients, how many projects have they done? Or if we talk about a product, so when was the product launched, and what problem is the product trying to solve. All those things are very important to be laid down in front of you before you start working on some asset, which could be your presentation or your brand flyer, brochure, any of that. You need to kind of visualize basically what target audience are you catering to, and what information are you trying to send across. And again, when we come to the position where we have to create some sort of information material like a presentation, it is also important to understand what the brand guideline is, and what type of design are you going to take with you. For example, if I am creating something for a tech company, I mean, let me just technology presentation. Search for a couple of different templates to kind of understand or to kind of give you an overview of what sort of presentations uh, are out there and how design plays a crucial role in establishing design trends or messaging, basically. So, for the first one, this is a technology pitch deck. So I do understand that all of this information, this color scheme, this fairly represents what a technology company does. But when we talk about healthcare presentation, maybe this color is better suited for it, and it is driven by a lot of imagery. It does not have some random shapes around it. It does not really have some vague elements popping out, and does not have very bright colors, very soothing colors. Again, white and green are the two most subtle colors that are prominently being used in healthcare industry. So again, this is a very good example of that. Now, if I talk about fitness, so we can see that most of the designs that we see in the templates are driven by the color black and red, maybe a combination of yellow and green, but prominently they are using the color black, which kind of does make sense because black is a color that is denoted with the emotion strength, right? So that is what we have over here. And I think we are going to start from scratch because working on a template is something that I am going to leave to your own discretion. You can do that at your own pace. It is very easy to work with a template, and especially the animation transitions that you have. For example, if I have this design in front of me and I want to add some animations around it. So in that case, I'm just going to select this layer. I'm going to click on animate, and I'm going to see how I want the transition to be here. So for example, if I want to add some blur and I want the speed to be very slow. So I think that is a good approach, and I'm going to add this. Okay, it does get added by default. Right, I think I'm just going to stick with the blur that I have right now. And if I click on present, I am going to present full screen. Right. Wait, let me go back. Okay, this is the presenter mode. All right, I think I want to start it again. Not really sure why it did not come in effect. Appear on click. Okay, I'm just going to duplicate it just so we have an idea of what is happening. All right. Okay, so it does. Right, it does work if it's just the first slide. So it was loading that way. That's okay. In that case, maybe I can just have an empty screen in the first screen, and so it kind of like helps me lead the process. Hovering. Right. Okay. This makes sense now. So I hope everybody is fairly familiar with how to add animations to Canva. If you have any specific queries before we get into, not designing the template per se, maybe we can change all of this. So, for example, if I add all of this to the files, if, yeah, so basically I've added this entire file, and what I do want to work on over here is adding all of this information to converting it into my brand colors. So I can easily do that. And but that is not the main agenda behind working on this. I do want to get all of you familiar with the animation part of it. So again, before we head on to this, adding animations to this, I think you can drop in your queries if you have any, and we can take a very short break for this. Do you guys have any questions around this? It would be great to uh, have your input in this. Nothing for now. All good. Great, great. That's great. I hope you guys understand that it is very important to keep on practicing the designs and see how the animations and the transitions work. Right. Somebody mentioned that can we not have a solid background this time? Okay, I think we can work around that. Maybe remove the logo, and the text in this could be maybe this. So I'm going to just quickly do a couple of changes to kind of make it a little lighter. Right. Okay, in this case, the background does look a little empty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an element over here, and I do want to add some blur to this. So what I can do is go over here and see if I can add some blur. I think I'm a little lost right now, trying to understand where I can add the background blur. So maybe what I will do instead is look for background blur. Right, I'm going to go for a graphic right now instead of the color, creating the color by myself. Okay, I think this looks a little bit like our brand color, but not really. So maybe what I can do is edit this photo and change the shade of this and make it a little orange, right? So I think this works. I have my primary color. In this case, I've changed the primary color to orange, and this is my secondary color. Okay, this makes sense. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to add all of this. So I want this to come in from here, from the left side, entering in, and I want it to be a little slow, right? And I can set the direction if I wanted to move in from the right or the left, if I wanted to move like this, and what sort of animation do I want in this. So because I've selected pan, it is also giving me a list of information that this is all sorts of animations that I can have. They are segregated based on their grouping, which is basic, writing, uh, aggregate, exaggerate, add motion effect, Right. So all of this is mainly used for graphics, but I think it is good to be familiar with what all variety of animations there are out there. Right. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead with pan, and for all of this, so there is a lot of background elements that they've added in this. So I'm going to kind of create a group of all of that. So again, Alt 1 for the grouping. Right click, I can group these elements, and I can turn down the opacity as well. And so even before I do that, I kind of want to change the background to what I had in my previous design, and I want to bring in this element because this is going to be my primary element now. So I have copied it from the previous slide, reducing the size of it, that, and I'm going to send this layer back because this layer is in the front right now, and I don't really want this to be overwhelmed by any other component. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Alt 1 again, select this layer, reduce the transparency to maybe 2. Yeah, I think this kind of does go with our theme now, which is minimal. And I do need to lock this layer so that it does not interfere with the design that I'm making with the changes that I'm making in the foreground. Okay, so I'm going to uh, make a change in this. I'm going to convert all of this into blue and create a group around this. So in order to uh, see what all layers do I have, I'm going to lock this layer as well because it is making it a little difficult for me to access the text that is in front of me. And now I'm going to animate all of this together. So another shortcut to grouping the files is selecting all of them and Control or Command G. I think this works globally across all design platforms. So I'm going to maybe add some sort of animation. Now let's see that along with this transition, do I really need another transition for this, and do I really need something that is separate for both these tables? I don't think so. I think I can combine both of them with the one design. So maybe the table of content is coming in from the left, and this content can come in from the bottom, which is my rise. And I can, yeah, I think create uh, this. I do need to change the color for this based on my brand colors, which is orange. It okay. I think it does give me a sense of familiarity between the two slides. So I go over to present. I present my screen. Right, as you can see, the design is slowly transitioned from my previous design to this one, and this one, another good thing about Canva is if I'm moving in this direction, you can see that the cursor kind of changes and nudges me to kind of move into this direction. And if I go over here, it does change its direction to this. And because there has been, I think if I click on the slide, they have kind of set the time that in 5 seconds the slide will automatically move to the next slide. I think we can just increase that to 10 seconds and apply to all 12 pages. Right, and we have, of course, a couple more slides to go. We are going to explore some more interactions. What I need to do first is kind of duplicate this page, because actually not duplicate this page. I am just going to select the layers that I want, which is my background blur and the grid that I have behind this image, to be replicated in this layer. This is a classic white that I have used over here, and then I have my grid and my background blur. I just need to bring it down behind these two colors. So I'm going to lock these layers once again, and this is my brand color, so maybe I can just change the colors to represent it. Uh, Add the logo in a couple different places. Again, branding is very important. This is how you kind of establish who you are making the designs for, right? So I'm going to change this color from railway font to another color over here. All of this is making sense, and I'm going to just increase. So as you can see in this presentation, I see two sans serif fonts being used. One is railway, one is enter. It is not a good practice to have multiple sans serif fonts being used in one design. I mean, if you really, really need to use a secondary font, it is always preferred to have a font that does not really look similar to this. So, for example, if I want to use another font, I can probably, choose a font that looks slightly different. Uh, in this case, I think something like this could really have an impact. It would create a higher contrast and make the user focus on both of them. But in this case, because this looks a little too formal for a fitness presentation, so maybe we are going to go for something a little sturdy, uh, something a little bold, a little strong. That is what the feeling was, primary feeling was, we looked for the color black, right? So again, just because we are moving away from that color doesn't necessarily mean that the essence of the industry that we are working for has lost its meaning, right? We can still, of course, based on the colors or the fonts, we can still accommodate the same feeling with something different. So, okay, I need to kind of change the background for this. So now we talk about adding some animations to this, right? So maybe this time I want to animate this image somehow. How am I going to do that? I am going to see a couple of uh, transitions. For example, I think wipe looks good. This is a slow transition for this, and in the same manner, maybe because the image is getting is appearing from this direction to that direction, maybe I can have the same to the text but in the opposite direction. Right now I do need to be careful about the speed of both transitions. I need to see, because it's not really telling me of a particular number, that what unit is my speed at. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to make an assumption over here and click on wipe, and in the opposite direction it is moving there, right? So I'm going to just quickly use the copy style. I selected this message over here, I clicked on copy style, and I'm going to add this. So what I need to do is just click on this entire word. I do need to copy it again. Just a second, bear with me, guys. I click on copy style and I click on this layer, and it has merged the design into what I had initially planned. Right, so I'm going to go into the present mode again, just to give you an idea of how I've been adding transitions to this. And okay, clicking on next. So as you can see, this was coming from this side, and oh, this has come out really nicely. Let's go through this again. Click here. Yeah, I think this transition is looking good. Right. I'm going to head over to the comment section one more time just to see if you guys have any queries for me. I think we have another 15 minutes into the session. Let's address some queries. And just to recap, we did work around creating your own brand kit, adding those assets in your account, and being able to reuse those assets for to kind of increase the ease of access, and using the same assets across multiple variations of the designs that you're making. And okay, apart from this, I think we touched bases on presentations and how to add basic animations to give your design some depth. So I think there was that. And yep, I think if you guys have any queries, all right. How to make mixed color backgrounds. Okay. Not a solid color background. Uh, how can I put other fonts inside it rather than default? Okay, I think you have an option to upload a font from here. You would need to have the TTF or OTF file ready of the font that you want to upload over here. And yeah, I think, for example, if I click on upload a font, it has asked me to select a font. And by uploading my own custom font, I acknowledge that I have the rights to use it for my intended purposes. Rest. This is very important when we are uploading a font in our Canva account, because we need to be 100% sure that it is copyright free and it is free for commercial and personal use. So I think that is something that you need to be aware of. I'm not sure about what this font's rights are, usage rights. So I'm just not going to upload it. And I think flashy edits, you had asked how to make contrast mixed color backgrounds. Can you explain your query a little bit? I don't think your message is coming across, like different colors at different sides of the canvas. Right, I think this is what you mean. If it's not, then you can just kind of elaborate on the query that you are making. So if I have to duplicate this design and remove a couple of layers just so we have some clarity. For example, I have this layer, and I do want to, modify some design into it. So I hope this is what you mean when you say that how to add mixed colors. Like dark blue at top right to lift blue at the bottom right. Oh, do you mean gradients? Because if you do, what I need to do is select the background, click on add a new color. Then I have two options. I can either fill my design with the solid color, or I can add a gradient. It is going to ask me that what style do I need to keep for my gradient. Let me just remove these two assets really quickly. Selecting the background layer, heading over to the adding new layer. Or if I have an existing linear gradient at 90-degree angle, I can just go and edit that. I have my linear gradient. I have my linear gradient at 180-degree, 135. Again, this is circular gradient, and this is at 0-degree. So I can just pick and choose from my preferences that this is the kind of design that I want to have. Now, selecting the gradient colors is important because we kind of need to be careful of choosing the designs, choosing the colors that blend together. They cannot really be, poles apart from each other. For example, with purple, I cannot really add green because although the colors might look good on the opposite ends, but it does kind of create a muddy, a little worn out color in the middle. So what I need to do is I need to be able to use colors that kind of go with each other. For example, these two colors, they look a little, in harmony, right? Similarly, these two colors again are a good combination, and maybe they can go well together. And if in case I'm not a big fan of such bright colors, so I can just always reduce the opacity. So for example, if I am keeping this on 5 and this 2 on 5, so you can see that there is a very slight transition from the finest, a very faint shade of pink to something that looks a little orange to yellow tone. Right. I hope this addresses your query. Great, great. Okay. Uh, Guys, any other queries that you may have? I think now is the time to address them. And in tomorrow's session, we can talk about some more elements that we can address. For example, creating business cards or letterheads and brochures. Um, Yep. Guys, if you have any queries, feel free to drop in a message. Can I create interactive PDFs or presentation with clickable elements using Canva? Yes, I think uh, interactive PDFs or presentations is something that we touched base with today. So, for example, if I want to kind of, uh, you know, have any particular clicks associated with any animation, I can just go to my animation panel and appear on click. So this asset will now appear at my click, right? So with these minor interactions, animations, you can create an interactive PDF and a presentation. And yep, I think this should answer your query. Put images on the font like Photoshop. You mean masking? I think, yeah, I will make a note of it and we can cover it in tomorrow's session. He's saying clickable elements like click a button and show some content. Okay. Do you mean in an overlay? Like I have my design and then I click on something and another layer, maybe a dialog box or something that opens up. I think, yeah, that is something that we can cover in tomorrow's session as well. Great, guys. If you have any other queries or any specific requests for tomorrow's session, tomorrow is going to be the last session for Canva. It will be great if you can just leave your queries here before we end the session so that we can address them in depth. So I think for today's, because there is no such set assignment for this session, I think it will be great if you guys can share your own designs and get feedback from your community, the people who are watching this session. I think it will be great if you have. Yep, yep. We will definitely cover clickable elements and masking in tomorrow's session. I have made a note of it. And okay. All right. Thank you so much for attending the session today, guys. It was great to have you here. And all right. I think this is it for today. Tune in tomorrow. And all right. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.